Hey guys, it's Ben with AmeriRent Equipment and HotPowerWashers.com. In this video today, we're going to show you how to remove and replace an EK440 pump from a Magnum 4000 hot power washer. We're also going to break down that pump and show you where the seal kit and the valve kits are located, as well as what those kits look like. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as well as like this video. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right guys, so this is the EK440 pump. It has been featured on this Magnum 4000 unit for a very long time. If you have a Magnum 4000, this is likely the pump that is on your machine. Again, it's an EK440 pump. We do sell it on our website at hotpowerwashers.com. So go check us out there. Links at the bottom of the page for you to see. Let's go ahead and break down this pump so you know what all the parts are identified as on the pump. You have your pump housing, your manifold, your unloader valve, your water inlet for your garden hose. This is your pressure switch. You have a chemical injection, where your chemical injection hose goes right there. Cold water safety relief valve on the back side here. And the rest are just brass parts that feed to your inline hose on your coil system that comes out hot at the bottom there. I'm going to open up the pump on both ends to show you where the parts are located on this, how you change out the whole pump, or how you'd replace the seal kit or the valve kit on this unit. All right guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil. I have some rags under there with a funnel leading into a bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the oil drain plug. This is a 14 millimeter socket. You can see on the sight glass the oil is going down, so it's draining out. I'm going to kind of tip the hot power washer from the forward side of it down so it drains most of the oil out of the pump. All right guys, so the oil has been drained from the pump. This is what the insert looks like for your plug. If it is leaking down there, just note there is no ring on the bottom of that. So we're going to go ahead and put this plug back, and then I'm going to show you how I pull off the end of this pump housing here. Make sure it's snug. Now this is what I use to remove the end of the pump housing off, where your parts are located inside your pump housing. And this is it says H5 hex head to remove. There's 6 cap screws, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 1 on each side. So this is the fast way because we always do it because we're removing pumps all the time. You guys might just have to use a standard hex tool. All right, I got all the cap screws out now. The pump's end's not just going to fall off. You have to actually pull it off there. It does have a seal on the inside of the pump housing, so it keeps the oil from leaking out. That could also be an issue you could face if you see oil dripping underneath the pump. So when we pull this off here, some residue will still come out there from what didn't get out of the pump. This is what the inside of that looks like, of your pump housing. You do have an outer seal located around the outside of it. This is where your fill valve is. That's where that cap screw was to keep, or your oil drain plug was. But yeah, please note there's a seal that goes all around that pump housing if you were to have leakage from your pump. All right guys, this is what it looks like inside of the EK440 pump. You can notate that none of these are broken. I'm going to show you that here by pulling the cord on the engine. So if you do hear some rattling going around in your pump, it's probably a bad sign and that your pump needs replaced. But this is where your oil is housed inside to keep your pump running cool. So make sure those levels of the oil in your pump are good, because these have to be lubricated as they're spinning around super fast. This is what it looks like when they're moving around freely and good. So as long as you see no broken parts inside there, you're good to go. But I just wanted to give you guys just an inside look to see what the inside of the pump housing looked like, and what you should look for if something's damaged. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this housing back on the pump, the end cap of this housing here. Just make sure that the surfaces are free and clear of any debris, which they are around your outer edge where your seal is going to go up against, and that there's no debris around the end cap seal. And then just stick it back on there. You'll get a nice firm fit. Make sure no seals popping out from the edges or anything like that. That it's seated really nice in there. And then go ahead and start your cap screws here. Next, we're going to remove all the hoses that are connected to and the pressure switch that's connected to the pump, so we can actually remove the pump from the engine, and then we'll break down the pump as well. All right, so the only parts that are really connected that have to be removed till we can remove the pump is this inline hose going into your coil, which has a rotating head there, so that'll be easy to remove, as well as this pressure switch, which is easy to remove as well. It rotates inside that housing there, so all you have to do is just spin that part of the pressure switch and it'll come right off. That's what that pressure switch looks like. Just lay that to the side, and then the pump is free and clear and ready to be removed from the engine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the pump from the engine. All you have to do is remove 4 bolts. I use an extension, makes it a little bit easier. This is a 15mm socket, so it's just 3/8 extension. Just makes it easier to get the bottom bolts out. Okay, so as you can see, the pump is loose from the engine. The key switch was also connected on the top bolt there to that top left bolt, so just set that out of the way. And then we should just be able to pull this straight from the engine, so it shouldn't be any problem. You see there it slides right off. And then this is your pump housing right here, or your pump. So there was a keyway that fell off from the shaft on the engine, so make sure you don't lose that. That slides in right there, and that's what, as you can see, you don't want to lose that keyway because it's still good. You know, if you need to replace it, you can easily get them at any local parts store. All right, guys, so we got the pump off here. I'm going to show you first how to locate where your valve caps are and show you what it's like to replace the valve caps. So bear with me here, I'm by myself. First, we're going to remove, these are where the 6 valves are located, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a 21mm socket, 1/2" wrench, a ratchet. So it can be hard to break these free sometimes. So it's easier obviously when the pump's on the engine and it's bolted down. So I might have to use the vise to break some of these free. But we're gonna remove these 6 valve caps. I'm not gonna go through the pain of removing them on camera. All right, guys, so I have loosened the valve caps, unscrew them all the way. This is what your cap looks like. It does have an O-ring there, so make sure those O-rings are good if you see water coming or leaking from your valves. Those O-rings could be the problem and be an easy fix. So you can remove all 6 of these if you want. If you're gonna actually replace all the valves, that could be a problem with why your pressure washer's not getting any pressure. One of those valves could be stuck or be rusted or just be old. And I'm going to show you what this valve actually looks like up close, and then what it looks like inside. So I like to use my handy dandy snap-on needle nose pliers. All you have to do is reach down inside in the valve housing here. You're not going to damage anything by doing this. You can see down in there, all you have to do, I'm doing this one-handed too, so just pull it out like that. It's not going to damage the valve. And you can see inside there, there is an O-ring that is seated down inside of that valve. So that's what also comes with the kit, and you want to make sure that gets replaced as well. That's all this is, guys. It's just, this is your valve. right here. And you can see it's spring loaded. So the top of the valve, when water comes in, it pushes in on that part right there. It's hard to see, but if you see that pushing in and out, that needs to be free from any debris. I have replaced them where I've found rust pieces and things like that inside there stuck, but you can see there's no gap around the edge there on the inside of that valve. It's moving free and clear. There's no rust. It's real clean. I mean, these are in good condition inside of this manifold here. But make sure that your O-ring down inside of here is good, as well as the valve. So that goes this direction facing down inside of that pump, and all you have to do is just drop it back in there to replace it. These are the kits that we sell. It comes obviously 6 to a pack. You get 6 valves, 6 O-rings to replace that. So we sell that online on our website, hotpowerwashers.com. If you end up needing a kit, we ship these. We keep them in stock, ship the same day. I did want to show you real quick. I removed all the valve caps, and they're all the same down inside there. There's not like one has to be placed in a specific spot. All the valves are exactly the same. You just pull them out, remove those O-rings with the pick or something like that. And then just pull them out, replace the O-rings, set the valve back in, and you're done. We'll show you real quick what that looks like. Remove. I have like a 45-degree O-ring pick, so you can just stick that down in there. That's all that O-ring looks like. And when you want to seat it back down in there, you just literally can stick your finger down in there, press it, make sure it's flush with the bottom, just like so, and then put your valve cap back in. It's easy as that. And then you want to make sure when you seat these back on there, that's where your pressure switch went. They're all kind of connected on top, so it doesn't necessarily matter, but that's where we had it last. Put your valve caps back in. Again, make sure all your O-rings are good on the valve caps. Put them all back in. Make sure they're nice and snug. I'm sure there's a torque setting, but make sure they're nice and snug. There's no leaks, and you'll be good to go. Those cap screws drew it back into the pump. It has a nice seal all around the edge. Just make sure you kind of do it evenly with those 8 cap screws as you're going around. You're not drawing the top in all the way in, the bottom all the way in. You want it to go on flush with your pump housing, so you don't damage anything in the process. So that is how you replace the your seal kit for the EK440 pump. Now we're going to go ahead and put this pump back on the pressure washer and show you how to do that. All right, guys, we're going to put the pump back on the motor. This is a 1-inch shaft for those of you wanting to know. You can see inside the end of this pump where it mounts there. That's where the keyway goes on the shaft. You want to make sure that that's seated back on the shaft right here on this unit. This one just slides right in there, no problem. You just want to make sure that both sides line up, and you should be able to slide it on there. Fairly simple. You can actually rotate this by hand. You can see inside there, you can rotate that by hand to make sure it's somewhat lined up as you're trying to mount it. And there is kind of an eye hole right here at the top. You can see down in there. You can't on the camera, but you can visually see that. As you're sliding that back on there, you're gonna have to hold the back of this keyway so the keyway doesn't keep sliding back, because it is kind of snug on there. There it is. So all you need to do is put your 4 bolts back in, and then hook up your pressure switch and your hose, and you've replaced the pump on this Magnum 4000. will need to put more thread tape on this because it is a pipe thread fitting. You don't want it to leak. This pressure switch also takes pipe thread on it because it is pipe thread fitting on the underside of that pressure switch, which again goes back in that valve right there. So. All right, guys, that is how you replace a EK440 pump on a Magnum 4000 unit, and how you replace the seal packing kit and the valve kit as well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will be doing additional videos on how to change the unloader. You go with a KPL402 unloader rather than this unloader that's set up on right now with a bypass valve. And we'll show you videos how to change out the pressure switch and what that pressure switch does as well. I am going to do a mini series video with all the different pressure washer parts and how to repair them and troubleshooting for each part. So if you guys have problems with these Magnum 4000s, you'll know what to do and what parts need to be replaced, what things you can do to try to troubleshoot those. I've been having a lot of people ask me to do an extended video on these units and to show what needs to be done if the burner doesn't ignite, if the pressure's not building up on the pump, things like that. So I appreciate you watching today, guys. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for more videos on these power washer units and equipment we're putting in the rental fleet, as well as other videos that we do for any of my other businesses here. So thanks, guys, for the subscriptions. Again, feel free to ask any questions, and until next time, thanks, guys.